argument, debate. It could get ugly sometimes, especially when we're discussing WWE versus AEW. Especially when we're discussing the views and opinions of those in the YouTube wrestling community or the wrestling community in general. I'm here to discuss certain matters, situations, and problems with set companies and also with set community. Hello guys, I am Baby Moy. That's right, that's what I'm known as here on ENT Hooligans. We are a channel of visually impaired and blind individuals who podcast. We also do gameplays. And what are our topics of choice, may you ask? We cover everything from society issues to religious debates, but we are not lopsided. We don't only look at things from one perspective, we look at all aspects, all avenues, climb all sorts of mountains and hills to bring ideas, thoughts, opinions home to you guys, to give you something to ponder and think about. But we also cover, like I said, we cover sports, and we also cover wrestling. That's right, wrestling. So if you guys wouldn't mind, give me a like, give us a thumbs up. That's right, thumbs up. And also remember, subscribe if you wanna, no pressure. Hit that bell, that way you're notified as towards everything that we're doing here at ENT Hooligans. And now with that out of the way, oh wait a minute, how can I forget? We have social media. You could follow us on Twitter. That's right. You could also follow us on Facebook. You could follow my personal Twitter. And you could also follow SoundCloud accounts from yours truly, right here, baby, and also my colleague who isn't on air with me at the moment, Big Ness. All of that will be linked down below in the description of the video. With that said, with all of that out of the way, let's chit chat, folks. So, it's no secret that AEW is gonna air their first show on pay-per-view on the 25th of this month, coming up in mere days. Here's the deal, guys. Some people are rooting for AEW to succeed. Some people are rooting for its weekly show once it goes on TNT, rooting for it to succeed. But yet you have others who are already deeming AEW a failure. You have others who are already announcing AEW's demise. I have no idea, it's inexplicable, why people would have this mindset, why people would want to defecate on a company that hasn't even taken its first steps yet, in terms of being on camera at least. I had to correct myself there. Now, obviously I have and I see a problem with that. To all you, I'm going to address the WWE fan. Now notice how I didn't say the wrestling fan. I said WWE fan. To the narrow-minded, if you are content with the fact that you are watching on a week-to-week basis a company who has a demented nut job in the forefront, who's the head coach of all things WWE, who's the end-all and be-all of WWE, if you are content watching tag teams getting embarrassed, if you are content with an organization, company, product, whatever the hell they want to be marked as, if you are content with a week-to-week show which shows no respect to its 11-12 titles, which there was a new addition added last night on Raw. If that's what you get down with, insignificant champions, if you are down with commentary which features nothing but a bunch of selfless and idiotic can't understand commentary. If you're cool with the fact that these guys are supposed to drive the narrative of a story home for the viewer, for even those who are new to the product, just think about this. You're flipping through the channels, you come across WWE programming, and you're watching this. And you hear Corey Graves and Renee Young bickering about, I don't know, what somebody ate at catering. What the hell relevancy does that have with what the athletes in the ring are currently doing? How does that relate to the story that you're supposed to be driving home? You know what the story is? The story is a story of two athletes. How did point A get to point B? How did athlete B get to fighting athlete C? I know I worked backwards there. Either way, you get the point. That's what we want to know. Give us backgrounds on these wrestlers. Yes, I said wrestlers, which is something else that WWE ignores. It's called World Wrestling Entertainment, but it seems like the wrestling aspect of it has totally been thrown out the window. Unfortunately. Here it is, folks. Here's the reality of it. The ones who in the end are going to stick with this product are the core fans, are the dedicated fans, are fans like me who've been watching this since we were literally in diapers. In my case, I started watching this when I was 4 years of age. I'm 34 years now. So for 30 years of my life, wrestling has been the one childhood aspect, the one childhood related theme that I've carried over to adulthood. And it is the one thing that I could truly tell you guys, I love a lot of things in life. I love music. I produce it. I sing. I write. I do all these things. But I also love other sports such as football. I love MMA. I like all this stuff. You know what I mean? Soccer. I'm wearing a tennis hat and an AEW t-shirt. But the point of the matter is, I love wrestling. If it's something that I've carried from childhood, that should tell you something. And no, I've not yet been driven away, and I don't think I ever will be, independently of what product we're talking about. But here's the deal, guys. There's many things wrong with WWE, and I find it to be a problem with people who support all things WWE without giving other companies not even a peep. New Japan Pro Wrestling, they are currently holding a Best of the Juniors tournament, which is followed the month after in June, because Best of the Juniors wraps up in... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me reiterate. Best of the Super Juniors wraps up in June, and the G1 Climax tournament starts in July. Now, Best of the Super Juniors grants the winner of said tournament an opportunity to face the junior heavyweight champion. And obviously the G1 usually leads to somebody competing for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Needless to say, very entertaining. And needless to say, way better than anything that has been showcased lately on Monday Night Raw. Now, sticking with the list of problems that I have with WWE, though, and how fans could be supportive of this. If you are supportive of what happened at Money in the Bank, where basically you had seven competitors busting their ass, taking these crazy dives and crazy bumps. And all for the risk. That's right, folks, I said risk. All for the risk of what? All for the risk of Brock Lesnar? Why? You have these people come out there and showcasing this raw talent, no pun intended, for the sake of Brock Lesnar, who, by the way, injured 2 cameramen and potentially concussed who was supposed to be, from what I understand, the winner of Money in the Bank in Mustafa Ali. But yet this guy comes out on Raw the following day. They don't reprimand him at all. No repercussions. Nothing. Despite the fact that there was a shouting match between him and Vince, but it seems like Vince McMahon is so submissive to Brock Lesnar. Huh. There's one person he listens to, I guess. But if you're supportive of a company that squanders and throws away and misuses their talent, all to push and further the agenda of using washed up, irrelevant, show up whenever the hell I feel like athletes. If that's what you are supporting, I don't know what to tell you. If you are not rooting for AEW to push WWE to give us a better product, if you are not rooting for AEW to show these guys, to shame them, not out of malice, no, but in the sense of healthy competition, if you're not rooting for that, if you are the type who is so narrow-minded and so lopsided that what your logic and reasoning tells you is that WWE is the be-all end-all, that WWE is the only boss in town. If this is what your mind, if this is what your brain thinks, then I don't know what to tell you. But I know this. I know you aren't worthy to be called a wrestling fan. Again, you should be rooting for AEW to push these guys. You should be rooting for AEW to gradually start getting numbers once they start airing on TNT. You should root for AEW to succeed. Matter of fact, you should root for all wrestling companies to succeed. Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan. But in regards to a wrestling organization here in the US that will definitively give WWE competition, you should be rooting for AEW as opposed to wanting its demise. Because guess what? If it's demise that you want, I got news for you then. That small glimpse of hope that we have in AEW, if you want that to become non-existent, then WWE will never, ever, ever change. And what strikes me funny is that some of these people wanting AEW to fail are the same people who complain about WWE, who complain about mediocre storylines, who complain about a wrestling product and wrestling matches that aren't up to par with today's standards in society. And what is today's standard in society? Well, here's what it is, folks. Today we live in a sports-centric society and community and group of people. Nowadays, folks, wrestling, the art of wrestling, the craftsmanship of wrestling is what we look at. Yes, we need a story. Is it my concern that AEW might become too sport-centric and lose focus on stories? Of course it's a concern. But is it as big of a concern where I'm worried, where I'm tripping, where I'm all like, oh man, could they pull it off? Of course not. Because they have good minds in the forefront of things. Matter of fact, my only gripe with AEW right now has been this whole thing with Pac and Hangman Page. Which, by the way, I had to get to that match. I haven't seen it yet. But you guys know what's going on there. No need in me recapping that. But all I gotta say in regards to that is, if AEW, now I'm saying if they knew, which I'm assuming they did, if they knew that this could have become a problem where Pac didn't want to necessarily get the L because he takes being Dragon Gate champion seriously, if we knew that this was going to become a problem, then perhaps they should have examined this a little bit more further, negotiated a little bit more further, and maybe hold off the match for another time. I'm just saying. Now, sticking with this topic though, sticking with the topic of WWE and these fans who support it. Listen, I have no problem with the person that comes up to me and says, I've been a fan since I was such and such years old. My childhood memories are because of WWE. My childhood memories are because of the Monday Night Wars. My childhood memories are because of WWF. Then I understand why it's hard for you to let go. I get it. I get why people like us here on YouTube are subjected to watching these things, because people ask us questions. People want to know what's going on. So, to some regard, we, in a sense, kind of have no choice in the matter. But, with that said, let me ask the WWE this question. When it's all said and done, who do you think is going to be there in the end? The casual fan, or people like me? Or people like Jason Solomon? Or people like JD? Or the people like those like Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited, which, by the way, thank you so much, brother, for taking my call last night. I really appreciate it, man. Big up to those guys. You know, people like Sean Rossat. You really think that we're just gonna throw in the towel and say we quit? And yet part of it comes with the fact that we do this YouTube thing, but it also entitles that we love this wrestling thing. And you could look at me and you could point at me and you could tell me, oh, how could you like that fake crap? Let me tell you something. If wrestling was so fake, let me address you guys for a minute. If wrestling were so fake, would Darren Drozdoff be confined to a wheelchair at this point? If wrestling were so fake, would Owen Hart have tumbled to his unfortunate death? Even though that's another story in itself, but would that have happened? If wrestling were fake, would Mick Foley have gotten his ear caught in that match against Vader? If wrestling were fake, would some of them have to retire early because of neck issues? You tell me how fake it is after hearing all that. You tell me how fake it is when you hear stories and when you hear statistics that every time these men and women hit the mat, it's the equivalent of being in a car accident. Yes, to a certain point, do they define gravity? Of course they do. But yes, it hurts. And yes, it's physical. And yes, it's demanding. And yes, it takes a toll on the body. So to blatantly disrespect these guys, no, I don't give you a pass on that. No matter if the athlete is a WWE guy or lady, you don't get a pass. But going back to the wrestling community here, how dare you guys complain, but then want the demise of another company who's willing to offer us wrestling, who's willing to offer us something different? How dare you guys? It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because you would think that the same people who want wrestling to succeed as a whole are the same people who are going to be rooting for AEW. You would think that the same people who are rooting for a better WWE product would be rooting for wrestling as a whole to improve. But like I said in the beginning, those people are just WWE people. Us, the wrestling fan, we want something different. Us, the wrestling fans, are tired of WWE's bullcrap, are tired of the mishandling of championships, tired of the mishandling of tag teams, tired of NXT athletes coming to the main roster only to get dumped on. And for what? I hear stories about Triple H being unhappy. I hear stories about creative, 99% of their ideas being dumped away, wished away into the wind, as if though they were never pitched. 99% of ideas never make it on TV. You have shows that are written and changed, rinse, repeat, recycle, rinse, repeat, recycle. And you wonder why we get a shit product on a week-to-week basis when it comes to WWE. Because things are always changing. Again, Mustafa Ali was supposed to win Money in the Bank, but he didn't, and might have ended concussed. Because it's, ratings would be more entitled if we have Brock Lesnar win Money in the Bank. Oh, and then let's make him champion on top of that, furthering the irrelevancy of championships and belts. So for anyone who thinks that this 24/7 crap is going to work, you got something else coming to you. Talk to me in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, effectively, one thing that we can do to also change what's going on here in the landscape of wrestling. Now, I'm not urging everyone to just glance and feast eyes at AEW. But what I'm urging you guys to do is hit WWE where it matters most, and that's their wallet. To you guys who can afford to do so, unsubscribe from the network. Stop attending these shows. Stop watching the product. At least for the time being. If you want change, we have to rebel. We have a voice. We also have social media. Let's air our grievances. Let's tweet them. Let's send videos. Let's tell them how frustrated we are. And can we stop cheering for every mediocre match that is put on a card? It's unbelievable how these people will cheer for crappy matches, for uncalled for tag team matches which make no sense. We rather push a tag team of Corbin and what's his face, Bobby Lashley, instead of pushing legitimate tag teams like the Revival, legitimate tag teams like the Ascension, legitimate tag teams, I dare say even like the Usos, who have now been reduced to a crappy comedy act. You really think I'm gonna sit here wanting to see that over, Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros? Come on, people. Come on, please. Hit them in their wallet. You're frustrated? Instead of going to these shows, instead of giving the money, because what's it worth for us to go to these shows and chant bullshit? You know what Vince is saying because of all of this? I got your money anyway. What's it matter to me? That's what he's saying, folks. Don't give him the money that he thinks he deserves. Stop buying the merch. That's all I'm saying. Stand up to WWE. Are you really comfortable with a company that patronizes women? You know, a great example of a company with a great roster of women is Impact Wrestling. And yes, I know it doesn't have as much eyeballs on it as WWE and won't have as much eyeballs on it as AEW. But their women's division, even to this day, is lights out spectacular. And you don't see them gloating. You don't see them throwing that in our face every so often. You don't see them glorifying, worshiping it. I'm just saying. It seems as if though, WWE gets an idea or they get their minds wrapped into a concept, we'll hear about it over and over and over and over and over. It gets boring. How many commercials, how many infomercials, how many ads of Secret Life of Pets were not ran yesterday during Raw's telecast? Tell me. Tell me. Are you really down with a company that lies about their attendance numbers at WrestleManias? Are you really down with a company that supports dirty Saudi money? Are you really down with a company who supposedly stands by an anti-bullying campaign, but yet they bully the Revival week after week after week, with exceptions to this week? Are you down with that? Because, again, it's heartbreaking. Stephanie McMahon addressed AEW and even name-dropped them and addressed them as competition. I believe this took place on Sunday before Money in the Bank. But for what? For what? I mean, Brock Lesnar's back. Yay. Bill Goldberg and Undertaker are back. Seems like Vince McMahon gave us what we wanted some 11, 15 years later. Yay. Randy Orton and Triple H are on this card at Saudi show, or whatever the hell they're calling it. Yay. I don't know for what reason Triple H is fighting Randy Orton. And you know what's crazy? They're deeming this potentially greater than WrestleMania, or something along that wording. Are you kidding me? Hold on a second. Let me take a sip of water, guys. Give me a moment. That's good. It's good stuff. People of the wrestling community, stop being so narrow-minded and be honest. Be honest. Let me tell you guys, let me show you guys how honest I am. I do this YouTube thing, and yeah, we have about 150 to 160 videos in totality, give or take. And no, we are nowhere as big as, say, a page like, a channel like Fightful or Pro Wrestling Unlimited or even JD or Solomonster. But do I do this for myself? Of course I do. Do I discuss issues and topics and sports-related things and wrestling-related things for my own pleasure? Of course I do. But the other part of it, too, is to educate you guys. The other reason for why I do it is because it's fun. The other reason for why I do it is because of my colleagues who also have a passion for this. Who also stand by all of this. We do this YouTube thing because we love it. Okay? We do this YouTube thing because we love it. In the fairness of being honest, right? I'm being honest with you guys about myself here. I know I've kind of detracted away from the wrestling issue, but it'll bind together. You'll see. You'll see. You're probably like, what the hell am I saying here? Where am I going? But yes, I do this because I want to get somewhere. I do this because I want the recognition. I do this because I enjoy the YouTube platform. I enjoy the fact that it grants me the opportunity to lend my voice, to lend my talent, to educate people about visual impairness, to educate people about religious issues, to educate people about even those who aren't religious, to get into the mindset of this person, that person, and so on and so forth. To get into the psychology of sports, to get into the psychology of wrestling. We do this because we love it, and we do this, and I'm doing this, and I'm talking to you personally of myself because it's in the fairness and interest of honesty, something that WWE isn't, and something that some of you need to be with oneself. Don't just tell people, oh, WWE Raw was good just to appease, just because you want a spot somewhere, just because. Tell it how it is. Tell what it is and say what it is. Stop lying, people. Stop lying. And my phone is going off, but I can't answer right now. I'm doing a video. I'll call whoever it is in a bit. This is the sad state of wrestling. You know, I don't know why it's so hard for WWE to adopt a more sports-centric feel. I don't know why it's so hard for them to carry and adapt this onto their programming. What's gonna happen when they hit Fox? And I'm losing my voice here. I need another drink. Hold on. There we go. What's going to happen when WWE makes it on Fox? You know, Fox has every right and all the ability in the world to end negotiations with WWE. Like that. WWE better step up. And I am hoping, now don't get me wrong, I don't want WWE's demise. I don't want WWE to become a complete failure, but I want them to hit rock bottom. I want WWE to push them. I want WWE to just decimate them, dissect them, make a biology experiment out of them. For things to get better. And hopefully WWE stays better when that day comes. There is no reason why AEW and WWE and New Japan and Ring of Honor and Impact and all these other organizations, there's no reason for why they can't coexist. There's no reason for why we can't have healthy conversations as opposed to pissing on somebody for liking what they like. Now, I know earlier I addressed those who like WWE, but I'm talking about expanding your minds. I'm talking about expanding ideas. I'm talking about not being so narrow-minded and so all the way this or all the way that. Okay? I love WWE, but ultimately I love wrestling. I already love AEW. They haven't even aired their first show yet. But the end game is, no pun intended, the deal is it's wrestling first. It's like football. I've been watching football for a very long time as well. And I remember I was around 6-7 years old. I had Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt and sweatpants, and I loved Emmitt Smith. I love the Cowboys to this day. But when the Cowboys get eliminated from the playoffs, or even if they don't make the playoffs, which has been the theme for a while, does that give me reason to pause and say I'm not going to continue watching the rest of the NFL season? Because Brazil, my favorite international team, gets eliminated, am I going to stop watching the World Cup? Because Barcelona, my favorite Champions League team, gets eliminated, am I going to stop watching the Champions League? No, I'm going to tune into the finals. I'm going to tune into the rest of the football season. I'm going to tune into the rest of the World Cup. So what should give me the reason to not support all things wrestling? As much of a rut as WWE finds itself in, that's more the reason why we should call them out on their shit. That's more the reason why we should, again, I repeat myself, why we should root for AEW. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. I don't know how many people are going to agree with this video. I don't know how many people are even going to, give it the time of day and watch the whole video through and through. But this is my message, man. Put wrestling first. And come this Saturday, I hope you guys, if you're going to order the pay-per-view or watch it through Bleacher Sports Live, or whatever it's called, whatever media you're gonna watch it, have fun, and I know I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching this. I'm gonna feel like a little kid all over again, man. If you are truly for wrestling, support all things wrestling. If you are really about wanting things to improve in WWE, use your voice. Use social media, use Facebook, and be honest. Folks, I'm going to wrap this up now. That's really all I wanted to get on here and say. If you want more content like this, if you want to get into my mindset a little bit and hear me ramble for a couple, let me know. Send me a comment down below. Please subscribe. New subscribers, thank you very much. Old subscribers, thank you for sticking with us. And subscribers to be, thank you to you guys as well. For ENT Hooligans, I am Baby Moy, saying peace out. Stay cool, stay chill. And for those who believe in God, in all things, put him number one in your life always. And for those who don't, stay safe as well. And you still get my blessings anyway. I'm Baby Moy, and till next time, folks. See ya! Hit the music, rise it a little.